U.S. men's national team news. Matt Turner leaving Arsenal. We know he's been a backup there for the last couple of years. I'm sure he's had a wonderful time, but he likes to play soccer, as soccer players do. Wonderful goalkeeper. It hasn't hurt him from a national team perspective, but he wants to play, and so evidently he is off to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I've been asking Sean for this segment because for a few nights, because while we've been here covering the Women's World Cup, the European summer transfer window rolls on, and Americans are a lot in the news. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Matt Turner leaving Arsenal after one season. It's not a loan, it's a sale. He's going to Nottingham Forest. It is interesting that Arsenal unloaded him after one season, but nevertheless, I think this is a good thing because he's staying in the Premier League and going somewhere where he's going to get to be a week in, week out starter, presumably. So, yeah, I think this is a terrific move for him.
It is. I don't know what it says. I mean, I don't know, Arsenal's just being altruistic or anything, but I don't think that they see him fighting for that number one position, and either now or in the future, because he's a nice to have but not a need to have. So fine, it's great because I love Matt Turner and I want him playing. To your point, I think that's a good one. Other stuff going on?
I mean, this is just bombshell news. Tyler Adams goes to Chelsea.
Chelsea's still in the Premier League, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, we came to find out recently that Tyler Adams did have a relegation release clause in his contract, so he could be had for an amount that I think is a bargain for him. So a bunch of different clubs were mentioned at different points in the last few weeks, and it ends up being Chelsea who step up and trigger that clause and buy him. And U.S. fans are really divided on this because they generally like the idea of an American player going to play for one of the quote-unquote super clubs, but it is Chelsea where we all just went through this very trying Pulisic experience, and the relationship got very toxic on Twitter between Chelsea fans and U.S. national team fans. So now here we go again, Tyler Adams. We'll see how that goes.
Do you think if Tyler Adams was an American that this deal would happen?
If he wasn't an American?
How much of him being American is this deal about? Because you lose one big American, and so you lose eyeballs, you lose people tuning in because of the fact simply that, in that case, it was Christian Pulisic that was part of the team. Now, I mean, I care about Chelsea more now because of this than I did 12 hours ago.
The interesting thing is we heard this summer when Pulisic left that he didn't really embrace being the American player for Chelsea.
They're very different.
There were a lot of media opportunities that they had set up for him that were based around the idea of him being American, and he turned them all down, which was a source of frustration at the club. Be interesting to see how Tyler Adams handles that.
I also think, as good as Christian Pulisic is, there's kind of a specialty aura about him, you know, and a luxury type of player to have. And I think Tyler Adams, in what he has shown so far in the EPL, there's a lot of teams that say, I would like to have that player. Now, keep in mind, he's also coming off of a serious hamstring injury, so hopefully all that has been cleared up and he's good to go.
And we'll see what his role is. Chelsea thought they were going to get Moises Caicedo, but that was the big breaking news today. He's going to Liverpool instead. I still expect Chelsea to bring in another midfielder before the window is up, and they have Enzo Fernandez. So I think they have Tyler Adams ticketed for a backup role, but we'll see.
Okay. Who else we got moving?
Well, you know, the American Serie A thing that we talked about is happening. Yep. Yunus Musa did end up signing with AC Milan, so now you have Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musa at AC Milan. And then Weston McKennie performed well enough in the preseason where it looks like Juventus is going to keep him now. There was a game against Real Madrid in which he assisted Timmy Weah for a goal, and so you're going to have those two guys potentially playing for Juventus. The one that I thought was going to happen at one point was Balogun going to Inter Milan. But now you're hearing that there's some frustration in the Balogun camp that Arsenal's asking price has been too high, and it's priced out some teams that Balogun would have wanted to go to, including Inter Milan. So they're balking at paying what Arsenal's asking for. So we'll see if what ends up happening there and where Balogun ends up. But had he gone to Inter Milan along with the other players I mentioned, then Serie A, that would have been the league for Americans to follow. I mean,
Mambo Italiano and Mambo Americano. I mean, this is the place for Americans. There's more, right? I mean, we're burying the lead here?
Yeah. Producer Sean Sullivan very excited about this one. He's a Bologna fan. I guess there are reports that Kate Cowell is headed to Bologna.
There you go. I mean, that's the destination for a lot of American players. I think they're quality players. They're cheap relative to others, and they bring eyeballs. You know, we just talked about what having an American can do for your brand.